Okay, welcome back. What I want to do now is continue with level 3 NVQ diploma in installing electrotechnical systems and equipment. Again, building structures and the environment. Okay, and again, we're still on unit 3 of 5. Okay, 2357. This reference number refers to the EAL reference number. Okay, and we're on session 10, environmental factors. Okay, so you can get that in there. Okay, good. Okay, let's get back to work. Here, understand how environmental factors can affect the selection of wiring systems and associated equipment and enclosures. Okay. Now, environmental issues. We have looked at different cables and containment systems. We will now look at other issues which need to be considered when selecting and electing wiring systems. Okay. Again, section 2522 in the IE regs. Make sure that it's compliant and you comply with the IE regulations at that point in time at the appropriate specifications. Right now it's the 18th edition of the IE regs which we need to comply with. Okay. Now, ambient temperature, AA regulations group 522.1. This takes into account the temperature of the surrounding environment. If this temperature is high or more than 30 degrees Celsius, then a factor must be applied to the cables installed. Okay. External heat sources regulations again 522.2. Again, you need to comply with these regulations yourselves. Nothing more for me to say other than this. Okay, just be aware of your external heat sources. And again, presence of water AD or high humidity AB regulation group 522.3. Now again, here you can see that I'm just going closer to this, make sure we can get this up. Now be aware and make sure that you comply with the regulation as it is. Now this regulations number may have changed in the 18th edition. You will need to check that it has not, and you'll use this point of reference for yourselves to establish that. Okay, those will be your point of reference. Okay. Now here, oil 25mm diameter hole drilled in the lid at the lowest point in the conduit run. Okay, roughly to let any moisture that may occur within the conduit system to escape, so it does not cause corrosion or a deteriorating effect on the cables inside. For the solid foreign bodies, AE regulations group again 522.4. Now again, I don't need to be reading this out to you. You're capable of reading this for yourselves. Hang on, sorry, let me just go back a bit, make sure we do it right. Now the IP code is IP, like IP45, IP65, etc, right? And you'll find this in one of my videos that I've done previously in the, I believe it's in the electrical principles side, but don't hold me to it. You'll need to look for it for yourselves. But it tells you about the standard of the IP codes and how they are arrived at. Okay. And again here, just telling you about pollutant. Okay. Make sure we can get it all in here. Okay. And let's go to you. Now, effects of electrolytic action. What you have is electrolysis between different types of metals, okay? And you need to eliminate this wherever possible. Okay, let's come back a bit. Okay, here impact regulations, okay? Now again, check your reference. Here is saying 522.6, make sure that you're looking at impact HG regulations group. Just check, 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 okay? Okay, the diagram shows how compliance with regulations, etc. might be achieved. Here we are looking at mechanical damage, okay? So here you have earth and metal trunking. Here you have steel plate protecting the armored cable, okay? The idea here is that you don't want this cable to be squashed, because if it's under pressure, the internal damage it will do to the conductors is irreparable. You will need to replace the whole armored cable if need be. So you need to protect that. And this is normally can be steel plating, or it will be can be concrete blocks covering a ducting, underground ducting, etc. Okay. Now it shows here wooden joist, but a similar principle can be applied to external installations as well. Okay. But make sure that you are compliant with the conditions to which you are applying your installation. So make sure that you have complied with the correct regulations for that particular installation. Okay, here we're just showing you how the cables run is made. Okay, and again it's telling you the regulation that you need to comply with to make sure that you are compliant with any impact conditions that might exist. Okay. Okay, now impact AG regulations. Okay, now here we're looking at the impact on cables, and here you can see that twin and earth cable more than 50 millimeters below the surface. Okay, now where the installation is under the control of either a skilled or instructed person, the requirements for circuits to be protected by RCDs having a rated residual operating current of 30 milliamps and an operating time of 40 milliseconds at a residual count of 5i is not required. Okay, well, I call it 5i delta N. Thermoplastic insulated and sheeted cables installed less than 50 millimeters from the wall surface to be protected by a 30 milliamp RCD. unless they are under the supervision of a skilled or instructed person. Now, let's go in a little bit closer to this so you can see what we're trying to say here. Now remember, this is for impact purposes. It's to make sure that you do not cause any damage to the cable should you suddenly someone decide to hit it with a hammer or some metallic object, basically. Okay, so you find that these cables are out of sight and normally is well covered over. And so that's what it's trying to illustrate. Protecting the cables against impact damage by any means. Okay. Sorry about that. And here you have again vibration. Now remember that these, let me just go in. This is a coupling, okay? This two here is a coupling, and inside of this unit, the motor isolator starter, there is a male bush, female bush, no, male bush, yeah. Female is internal, okay. A male bush or a bush is in there anyway, so to secure the coupling to the starter unit in both cases. Now here you need to be sure you're going to have an earth within your cable system, that you can earth the motor and earth your starter section, and you also have an earth coming in which should be connected to here. Okay, that ensures that you have an earth continuity throughout your circuit. Now again, sorry, I'll just come back to here to you in a moment on that. Okay, now an example of juke here might be to do with the connecting to a motor where vibration can lead to connections working loose. To limit the effect of vibration, it is common practice to use flexible conduit for the connection to a motor. It is also possible to use SWA and SY cable as the final connection. Okay, right, so you cannot use your conduit as a means of earthing. That you must ensure that there's a separate earth in your conductor, even if you're going to use armored cable, then you need to select one of those cables internally to the armored cable to be your earthing system. Now remember that these will be three-phase motors, so they will be operating at 400 volts, and you do not want to be giving somebody an electric shock at 400 volts. So let's just go in and make sure we can get this into full view. Okay, good. Let's go back up. Make sure we can get it all in frame. Okay, good. Now all the mechanical stresses, AJ regulations, again telling you that. Now again, let's make sure that we can see this in full. Okay, so let me go in. Okay, make sure that we can see this as it stands. Now you need to comply with the regulations. Again, similar thing here, no stress on your lamps or on your cable which makes up your connection to the feed, your lighting circuit. Okay. Okay, let's just make sure we get this. Okay, we can pan out. I'm a little bit concerned there. Okay, okay, good. Okay, and all the mechanical stresses. Okay, here now. That's your ground level, and that's your depth. So 600 millimeters ground level to top of cable. Okay, basically, right? So, but your cable would be protected by an internal ducting anyway as well, which could be construed by a concrete system. Okay, so here that's protecting, that tile here is protecting your cable. Okay, let's just go and make sure you can see that before. Okay. Okay, let's take it up. Okay, okay. I'm back. Should not be in full view. Okay. Okay. Present of flower and or mold growth, etc. regulations. Again, flower relates to plants and mold or fungus, and these can cause excessive damage, especially if you have cabling that's located outside. And again, here you need to make sure that this doesn't happen. Okay. You have to take into account vermins, etc. Okay. So that is a matter for you. But let's just show you close up what that can look like. Okay. Overall, and also in regards to taking into account damage that can be caused by rodents. Okay, good. Okay. Solar radiation AN regulations, telling you what the regulations are there. Okay. And PVC should not be installed in direct sunlight, as this causes the cable to harden and to crack. Okay. What happens is that it heats up, then it cools down, and that will cause the cable to crack. So it should be, you cannot obviously predict where all sunlight will always be, but you need to make sure that the cable has got some additional protection to prevent that from happening. Okay. Okay, let's go back. Bring you into full view, into frame. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. All right. Now here you have all the regulations which applies to you. Okay. 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 Nature of processed or stored materials and building design. Okay. Now this is all of this applies to you. You need to know this stuff, because you're going to be more than just an electrician. You're going to be a lot more. You're going to be an advisor. You're going to act as a consultant. People will come to you to ask your questions and recommendations. You have to be ready and be prepared. Okay, multi-choice questions. Okay, you don't need me to on those, but you can click them yourselves. Okay, now you need to answer the questions. I insist that you answer and have a go at these questions for yourselves. Now basically write it out yourselves. Again, this is based on BS 7671, and it's now we're now dealing with the 18th edition. Please take in mind and bear in mind that there may have been changes. So it will be up to you to check those changes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.